entering my
Here
house.
it comes. Should I start saying that now?
Well, as soon as you can see them.
Okay. Here it comes. Here it comes. They're busting the door.
We'll make sure that people know that you meant no harm to anybody.
I mean no harm. I mean no harm. I am on the ground. I'm on the ground. There is no dog.
Who else is here?
My daughter is here.
We're out. Sheriff's office.
They're in the house.
Where at? Sheriff's office. Come out.
They're getting my daughter and her friend. They're putting this all on the ground. My hands are on the back of my head. There is no dog. There is no dog. I am not trespassing. This is my property. I have the paperwork to prove that this is my property. They are stealing. Don't hurt me.
I'm not going to hurt you, ma'am.
They are stealing my property. I have paperwork right there showing that I own this house. Sheriffs, you guys are violating my Constitution. Don't you touch my phone. You are violating my constitutional rights.
And then they hung up the phone, Joyce.
I'll tell you, this was so hard to listen to, but knowing that she was going through it. But listen to how strong this 54-year-old grandmother was. I mean, she's just amazing. Well, as a result of this, I just got a phone call that we had contacted
We got a break, Joyce. Stay there. We got to take a network break. We'll be right back on the other side. Then your phone calls are coming up, ladies and gentlemen, and a ton of other news as we track the police state. Stay with us. The system wants you to be dependent on them. What the communists do in Russia and China. They would just tell everybody, you got to move off your land. You got to go into the central work brigades. Then they just put a ring of machine guns around them and let them all starve to death. They want to re-engineer societies violently. Now, this is the bankers that funded the communists and the fascists, and they're just looting and stealing. I want to explain again. More than double all the mortgages. That wouldn't be double. What's $9 trillion would pay off all the mortgages? Is 14 plus. So more than 100% of the mortgages, and then again half. All the mortgages in the U.S. and half again would be paid off. All mortgages with the money taxpayers have had to pay now to the bankers. And they're using it all offshore. Going to Joyce Riley, we have Jim Percy, who knew the lady and that this just happened to, and was on the line with Joyce while she was on air. Joyce, finishing up your point, though, about this lady's courage and the new developments we've got, then we'll go to Jim about this.
Okay, she was so incredibly brave. What she did, the manner in which she handled herself, she kept asserting herself the whole entire time. And not in a violent, radical way, in a way a grandmother would protect her brood, really. She said, I'm the matriarch of this family, and I need to protect them. Well, I just got word that the television company, the television network that we had contacted, had gone out to her house. They were there toward the end of the event. Unfortunately, didn't get there in time. But they were able to, according to Jim, and I think Jim can give us probably better information on this, they downloaded the information from the kids that had been video recording this and the other people that were video recording there. They had gotten, found out what had happened. I'll let Jim tell you about what took place then with the 15-year-old grandson. But the bottom line is they have now gone in there. They've got armed police everywhere, taking all of her things out, and they have taken her to jail. So that's what we know thus far, is that they've taken her to jail.
For trespassing in her own house. Let's go to Jim Percy, who's written, I've been covering this situation. Jim, what's the local TV station? Do you have the call letters of that, or will we see this on the nightly news, the afternoon news?
No, I only know that it's an NBC affiliate station in Hillsborough and in St. Louis, and it's Channel 5. I spoke with Dawn's grandson about 25, 30 minutes ago, and he said, Jim, he said, the sheriffs came over to me when they were taking my grandmother and my mom out of the house in handcuffs because I was shouting at them, "You're violating her constitutional rights. You are so wrong in what you're doing." And the sheriff walked over to him and said, "Listen, if you don't keep quiet, I'm going to read you your rights." And he looked at the police officer and he said, "I'm a minor." And he said, "Well, then you'll be a minor in jail if you keep talking." And this 15-year-old grandson that Dawn has is quite an interesting young man. He's got a real heart of steel. But you know, Alex, it's really twofold what's going on with Dawn Welsh. Not only does she have a statement from the original bank that she used to mortgage her home, that her home is paid for, and not only did Wachovia not do their due diligence and put themselves as a legal lien holder on title to the property, Christopher Boyko ruled in November of 2007 in 14 cases that were brought before his court regarding Deutsche Bank trying to do the same thing. Judge Christopher Boyko ruled that because the bank had not put themselves in a legal lien hold position, that the properties were paid for. And those people walked out of his court with their homes. Now, Dawn Welsh not only used that as her defense, but we also challenged the jurisdiction of the court. Because as you well know, Alex, today there are 3 courts in America. There's a common law court, there's an equity court, and an admiralty court. The only courts that are up and running are equity and admiralty. And the only thing that the equity and admiralty courts can adjudicate are those who have voluntarily consented to a contract, or those who are corporations. And we had filed with the courts an affidavit denial of corporation existence, and we had challenged the jurisdiction of the court. And when the court's jurisdiction is challenged, Alex, you probably know this, that court cannot proceed until they overcome the challenge of jurisdiction.
Yeah, well, they don't care. They don't. I mean, the government ships the drugs in, the cocaine, the heroin in openly. Police openly pull old ladies over and grab their earrings and watches publicly, and it's on the news, and the cops say, we're allowed to. If you don't like it, we got a SWAT team. You know, I mean, that's the answer. You don't like it, we got a SWAT team. And we'll finish up with this on the other side and then get to everybody else's calls and shift gears. Stay with us.